kind of flux moving pieces, but I'll update you on the core part, which is all the Skippy command code stuff. So first off, last semester, all I had was I had the basic Skippy structure, obviously, but I only had like the commands to set something, not to read back. So now it supports all the complementary functions to like do a query as well. There's a lot of things that were added that were missing, like limits and different things that now the read and write logic is all in there. I've cleaned up the enumerated constants to be a little more meaningful, like evens are queries and odds are like setting a command, and then there's one other type which is like events only, like halt the system or reset the system, simple things like that, or initiate a sweep. So there's no setting a parameter, getting a parameter, is just set this event or start this event. Then along with that, so we had talked about doing the loop back over the UART, and so one of the things I've started to implement, but I don't have it working fully on the target yet, but I did implement the, well, two things. First, there's a system event handler, so sending certain Skippy commands down would create different events. And for instance, if it's in the middle of a sweep and you set a Skippy parameter that needs sweep or changes sweep parameters, then it needs to let the controller know to like halt the motors or reset the sweep and so forth. So there's a few basic system events that handle that sort of thing, like the sweep parameters have been updated, limits have been updated, as well as like halt the system. So there's a command that would halt the system. Okay, so then along with this, I've beefed up my unit testing to incorporate limits and so forth. So here, unit test sets a limit, the low limit, the high limit. So these are sweep angles. So on axis 0, I want to set the low limit, the high limit. And then I verify that it got set into the system like settings cache properly. So that's all new, that's all been added. And if I run my unit tests, it should build and execute. And there's a couple that are broken, but mostly, okay, if it'll run, see, already defined. Oh, my bad. 1 second here. Okay, so 233 out of 235 unit tests passing. Now, in order to get this on, it compiles on the target as well. So I'm just locally testing it with my unit test, but the CCS project is compiling and working as well. I didn't bring the board to test because the next phase is to do the full loopback test like we talked about. So I've started to write my Python driver, but it's not complete and ready. And then I just need to loop back I need to tie into the Python driver and then loop back the UART in to the unit test, and then it'll run all the same unit test against the target. So, so I'm close. I'm just not 100% there yet.
So how are you coming as far as the control of the motion though?
So one of the things I've identified is like we talked about using the microcontroller in the short term and writing the motor driver and all that. And honestly, I haven't even gotten started there yet because the Skippy stuff has been more than I thought it would be. But in addition, I did identify there is a like daughter card for the dev board for the MSP 432 that has
With a single input.
with a single DAC. It gives you a single DAC. So we already have the motor encoder input. So I'm going to buy that daughter card, and then we should be off and running. And it talks over SPI, so I figure whatever work I do there to
Send me into it. How much does it cost?
it's like $20.
That's up to you. I mean, I can order it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Anyway, so I need to order one of those, and then we can start getting the motor controller actually in play.
Have you done anything as far as hooking the quadrature
I haven't.
encoder signals in?
Nope. Not
Yeah,
on,
so
not on
I
this.
would start working on that stuff because I'm more concerned about that than the Skippy side.
Than the full Skippy. Okay. Well, the full complement of Skippy stuff is starting to work. So some of the unit.
I mean, my point is that we can always add in fancy Skippy, whatever type stuff once we've got the motor controller working.
Sure.
But it doesn't matter to have all that stuff until the motor controller is working.
Okay.
So let's focus on getting the motor controller portion of stuff working, and then get back to the Skippy side of stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So I do have the like send an angle down, read an angle back. That logic's all in there on the Skippy side. So we get the pig controller working, the encoder stuff working. We should be in good shape. So.
Okay.
Okay.